Hello, everyone. My name is Jerry King, and today I am going to be talking about Qi Men Dun Jia and about what Qi Men Dun Jia is, um, what you can do with it, what is required in order to understand it, and whether it's even worth your time in to invest into this specific method. So, yeah, let's get right on to it. So, what is Qi Men Dun Jia? Well, it is a divination method. When I have quote divination, basically, people use it for other um, things aside from just divination. For those who aren't aware of what divination is, it's like when someone asks a question, or if you have a question about something like, should I buy this car? Qi Men Dun Jia can answer that question for you. It can say, yes, this is a good car, or no, that's a bad car. So that's one um, form of divination where you can answer specific questions from an individual. Um, Other people use Qi Men Dun Jia for date selection as well. So we can't really just say, oh, it's only for divination. You can use it for date selection. Um, It's also possible for some masters to use it for as a life reading tool, which I don't recommend. I don't believe in using Qi Men Dun Jia for that. You've got Bazi, which is much more accurate and precise, at least for me. I probably choose Bazi over any other methods in terms of life reading. Um, Qi Men Dun Jia also war strategies where originally in the past, Qi Men Dun Jia was heavily or mainly used for wartime strategies, but now in the present day, it's being partially marketed as a divination system, another metaphysical system where you can use in your consultations or daily lives. So Qi Men Dun Jia can cover diverse range of topics during divination, which can include the following: um, pregnancy, marriage, exams, career, job search, money related matters, finance, investing, traveling, lawsuits, conflicts, feng shui, and luck, etc., etc. So there are a lot of things you can look at in terms of Qi Men Dun Jia. Um, the range is diverse. There's so much in it. But as a divination system, it's very often used to answer specific types of question where you want to know whether you be successful in, let's say, a lawsuit or successful in dealing with something, a situation, whether you need a yes or a no answer, which you can also get the answer from using the I Ching. You can use the Wen Wang Gua, or you can also use the plum blossom divination in I Ching to answer those questions as well. Um, but however, obviously, Qi Men Dun Jia, there's a lot more to that than just answering a yes or a no to a specific question. You can definitely see a lot more inside in terms of what's going on. Why is the answer yes? Um, for example, if you're going to the airport, is this going to be a smooth ride from your home to the airport? Will you be blocked? Stuff like that. You can also look at whether the roads are going to be blocked, whether you're going to be delayed at the airport, things like that. Uh, why is it called Qi Men Dun Jia? So the Qi came from, if you are aware of Bazi, there's a specific formation called the Sanqi Ge, where a Bazi chart might have the Yi Bing Ding. So the Qi came from the Yi Bing Ding. And men, obviously in Qi Men Dun Jia, there's the Ba Men, or what we call the eight doors or eight gates, um, where it represents the man luck. Okay. And then Dun Jia. So Dun Jia, a lot of people don't understand where this all came from. Why do we call it Qi Men Dun Jia and the Dun Jia? So Jia is like the leader, right? So in your what I would call the 60 jiazi, so the 60 stem and branch combinations. So in terms of dun jia, you want to hide the jia because the jia is afraid of the gang. Gang chops the jia, gang attacks the leader, right? So you want to hide it. So how do you hide it? So in Qi Men Dun Jia, it's very obvious where if you have like a jia zi, jia xu, jia shan, jia wu, jia chen, and jia yin. So all these, the jia, like if your divination is held on these days, you don't see the jia. The jia is not seen in Qi Men Dun Jia, not in the plate. So it's hidden in underneath with the Wu Ji Gang Xin Ren Gui. And we'll talk about it a lot more. Like in my classes, I talk a lot about um the ways of using this and divination and whatnot. So yeah, I'll definitely talk a lot more about these in the future. And oh, this is a typo here is 三起. Qi is that qi, 三起六一. So I just gotta fix that while I'm talking here. I'll just copy and paste. I don't know, my pinyin made a mistake here. Anyways, going back to the slide. So 三起六一, the 六一 represents these six the six symbols here, Wu Ji, Gang Xin, Ren Gui, coming out from the Jia Zi, Jia Xu, Jia Shan, Jia Wu, Jia Chen, and Jia Yin. And the Sanqi coming from Yi Bing Ding. So now you have all the stems aside from the Jia is hidden. So when you dun Jia, dun means to hide. Yin Chang, that means to hide. Okay, hide the Jia, hide the leader. Okay. And Qi Men Dun Jia is one of the three styles that we use. So obviously the other one is Da Liu Ren and Ta Yi. They all involve the earth, man, heaven, and gods. Okay. Da Liu Ren, obviously a system that I personally prefer over Qi Men Dun Jia. It's just personal preference. Da Liu Ren's significance is in deciphering the process from beginning to its results. Whereas in Qi Men Dun Jia right here, it's prior to the situation, you can determine the results. A little bit different in terms of usages. I would say Da Liu Ren deals more with people problems, whereas Qi Men Dun Jia, it's historically known as dealing with strategies, war strategies. Okay, so the three styles, as I mentioned, Tai Yi, Qi Men, and Liu Ren. So in the past, Tai Yi, we would use that to look into the weather. Okay, Qi Men to look at strategies in terms of war, and Liu Ren dealing with people issues such as marriage, financial, investments, um, lawsuits, exams, all that. Whereas now people can use the same, use Qi Men to divine the same things such as exams, lawsuits, and so on and so forth. So Tai Yi is right. This is rarely used right now. This is in a I would say a more advanced form. I would say Da Liu Ren and Tai Yi, they're the more advanced forms of divination. So and for Tai Yi, it's like already something that happened. Now what? This is a method often used to look at the bigger picture, such as the society, weather, and natural disasters. So if you're dealing at like elections, you might want to look into using Tai Yi. However, a lot of people would still use Qi Men Dun Jia or Da Liu Ren to determine the election results. So all three methods can predict the results. But I think from a divination perspective, I'm not trying to sell anything. You can make your own decision in terms of what you want to learn. Personally speaking, I would say Da Liu Ren is the most powerful of the three. And I believe it's the easier one to learn as well. just because if you have a solid foundation of the I Ching and Bazi, definitely Da Liu Ren is right where you want to be. And it is the higher form of divination more advanced in terms of divination. And most of the high end or top level masters would be very good, or at least be sufficient in using Da Liu Ren and understanding how it works. So what is required to learn Qi Men Dun Jia? It's very simple. Knowledge of the I Ching and the Bagua. Obviously, if you know the Bagua, it's very easy for you to do divinations in Qi Men Dun Jia because it obviously relates to the five element theory as well. So, for example, a Li Gua, fire, a Kan Gua, water, etc., etc. So, um, if you know, okay, fire and water, there's a conflict, and if your subject matter is located in the Kan and the Li Gua, and they're in conflict, obviously you know that something's not going to go smooth. That's the knowledge. That's, I would say, consider basics to Qi Men and to Da Liu Ren. You need to know, you got to be aware of the symbols. The symbols they're all the stems combinations are seen in Qi Men Dun Jia as well. So the big question is it worth investing time in Qi Men Dun Jia? You have to ask yourself, what is your goal? What do you want to learn this for? So are you a consultant or are you doing this as a hobby? Is Bazi knowledge enough to answer the questions from your clients? So these are the things you have to think about. Because when you're learning something like this, obviously you have to spend time and money. I think time is the greater factor because you might spend, I don't know, months learning it, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and then after you learn all the terminology and understanding the technicalities behind Qi Men Dun Jia, is now you gotta take it out to the field and try practicing it, do your research. You got to research all kinds of cases. So if there's an election going on, you want to bring up your Qi Men Dun Jia, and then after the fact that it happens, you may want to refer to the plate, refer to your notes, see whether your divination was correct or not, whether your notes are correct. You can even use it to analyze like a soccer match, which is very useful as well because you can apply it to different situations as well. If you can apply it to a soccer match, you can definitely apply it to like real life in terms of if you have two stocks and you want to invest in either one, what do you do? It's like choosing a winner, right? So it's the same as having like Argentina playing France and you want to choose a winner, who's going to be the winner? And is there a clear-cut winner? Are we going to overtime? It's like investing in a property as well. Is this property A better than property B? So a lot of research has to be done. And I mean, if you're looking at just specific individual issues, their luck, their future, and their destiny, you don't need Qi Men Dun Jia because you can just look at their bazi, right? And then you can just look at their chart and say, oh, okay, this is what we see. But what if the client asks you, is if they're seeing someone at the moment, is this female good for them? Well, obviously, if you have their bazi, both of your clients' bazi, it's easy. You just look at it and you just say, oh, okay, there's a good connection, both of you liking a specific element or complementing each other with specific symbols in the chart. Then you don't have to worry about Qi. But what if you don't have the other person's birthday? Then you gotta use Qi Men Dun Jia. So things like that you have to consider, right? Such as like you can't just go to the Bazi chart and say, okay, this person has 3 properties. He can only buy one. Can you actually go to the Bazi chart and say, oh, okay, property A is better than property B? You can't. It's difficult. Even though he's in a good cycle, the only thing you can say is that, oh, you can just randomly buy any of them and then they'll make you money. Well, obviously, because you're in a good cycle, if you're in an extremely good cycle, it doesn't matter. You can just close your eyes and you can just buy anything and it'll turn to gold, right? But if you need to identify that specific property, you might want to look into 奇门遁甲. Same with 大六人, you can use 大六人 as well to determine the property. In conclusion, yeah, 奇门遁甲 is very dynamic. What do I mean by dynamic? I'm gonna click. I'm gonna show you a 奇门, how the 奇门plate works, and then you'll understand what I mean by dynamic. So it requires a lot of memorizing, 奇门遁甲, because there's the gods, the doors, and the what I would call the heaven, the 天, the stars. So you have to memorize a lot of symbols. And then obviously with Qi Men, always avoid biases. You gotta read it with an open mind, just like reading a Bazi chart, right? And like I mentioned, cost and time. Do you want to spend money and do you want to spend time? I've seen people spending loads of money in Qi Men Dun Jia and still don't understand how to use the chart. I mean, it's crazy when you're spending like over $10,000 for a course and they don't understand the basics of the different plates, why you're using specific plates. That's just mind-boggling. Why are you spending so much money and you're not understanding it? I mean, you got to start from the basics, right? But yeah, let's just quickly. So this is a Qi Men chart right here. I just randomly grabbed the date here. And basically, let's just assume it's August 28th, 2022, and it's 16:35 or 4:30 in the afternoon. And basically, this is the chart right here. And then the date is a Gui Chou Day, Gang Shan hour. And basically, this is what you see in a Qi Men chart. So up top here are the gods. The 九天之父唐诗太阴. So you can see right here, you're probably like wondering, wow, there's so many symbols. Like, how am I supposed to, where am I supposed to start? Well, there are books and things online where you can just start studying and memorizing it. I mean, I have a book too, which talks about all these, gives you the definition of all these and what it means. And then the gates or the door. So your kai men, xiu men, sheng men. You gotta identify which ones are your positive ones and your negative one. Negative one could be something like a si men. A si men, right? Means the if I translate it straight from Chinese to English, it means dead or death. Okay. Shangmen means injury, resting is xiu, and so on and so forth. I mean, you can look through online or go through my book and understand what each of these gates mean. And then you also have the Tian, Tianxin, Tianpeng, Tianren, and so forth, Tianchong. So basically these are what you call the stars, or you can call them the heavenly objects, right? And then you have all these day stems. I mean, I shouldn't call it day stems, just stems, the heavenly stems. Got to understand what all these mean as well, right? So this is, and it's always changing. So you change a date, you just change it 29, boom, it changes, right? And yeah, that's how a Qi Men plate works, where every day or even every hour. So let me just flip it to the next hour, to the rooster hour. Boom, all the symbols change. Oh, and now I have a Fu Yin pattern. You got to understand what Fu Yin means. Just like in Bazi, there's also Fu Yin. So yeah, in Qi Men Dun Jia, there's a lot of things to memorize and things to understand. I mean, there's your 9 squares, right? Or the Bagua, I would just call it. Where all these symbols are slapped on top of a bagua, and you have to understand what it means and why it's located in such a position. Also, you got to understand the configuration as well. So yeah, it looks very complicated, but it actually isn't. I think this one, the chart looks less complicated. If I bring up a Daliu Ren, let's just bring up the, just going to end my talks here soon, but I'm just going to quickly bring this one up here. So Daliu Ren, let me just randomly change that to, let's just grab 2022. So yeah, very different. I have another video that talks about Dali Ren, what it can do, and what all these plates mean. Less complex. All the symbols are recognizable. You've seen these before. Your branches, and then you got to understand, oh, why is there a stem here? Right? And then why are there these stems here? And then there's branches here, what I call the 3 transmissions, 4 classes in your earth and heaven plate. So that's all I have for this presentation. And like I said, Qi Men Dun Jia looks a little bit more complicated, but it isn't. These methods are definitely what I would say learnable. And I mean, you just got to spend time. You got to spend time to do your research and do more online reading. So yeah, it's up to you whether you want to decide to invest your time and money into these types of divination systems. I find that they are very useful in terms of like answering specific questions outside of the usage of bots as well. So yeah, that's all for now, and hopefully I'll put up more videos in the future about Qi Men Dun Jia and specific items within Qi Men Dun Jia as well. All right.